Today's show is all about waste busting, and our first solution comes from NHinsulation.com, part of MJW Drywall and one of our sponsors. Mike Wilson brought waste busting close to home, my own home in fact. Mike's NHinsulation.com specializes in spray and injection foam that helps homeowners and businesses reduce their heating bills. So what is spray foam insulation? Well, it's this stuff, and this stuff, and this stuff. And it's all designed to better insulate these things, our homes. After an energy audit of our own home, it became very clear that we had, as far as insulation is concerned, a few gaps to fill. Enter Mike Wilson. He's the one responsible for putting that cool futuristic spray foam insulation stuff in our house.
Definitely see some changes after this one.
Yeah, you could. So what did you find when you started opening up the walls here?
A lot of empty cavities, a lot of loose cellulose that had settled, a lot of gaps. I'd say maybe 1/16 to a third not even insulated.
Wow.
So
That's why it's been a little
drafty.
a little drafty at
Yeah.
times, yeah. And drafty isn't just uncomfortable, it's wasteful. A poorly insulated home can waste up to 60% of the energy used to heat it. That means we're throwing away a lot of money right out the window. So at our house, we went ahead and upgraded our home's insulation from the ground up.
Well, the first thing we did is when we spray foam the basement, we actually spray foam the floor in here to help stop any draft from coming through the brick and up through the basement into that area, because those are usually drafty from that.
Yeah.
The second step is to look at how we're going to get access to this, because obviously we have no collapsed siding here that we can remove, and it's not a good idea to drill holes directly through the siding, because that will leave a spot that moisture can get into over time and cause rot and mildew and all the other fun stuff that goes along with that. So we have two options. We can try to take some of the trim boards off and try to fill it that way, or we can go through the interior and try to drill holes through the sheetrock or the plaster and fill it from the inside and patch them after. So it's going to be really dependent on what the homeowner wants to do.
For our house, Mike recommended going at the walls with injection foam from the outside.
Lesser of two evils. I mean, obviously doing it from the inside, now you have interior work that has to be done, clean up, furniture has to be moved out of the way. You know, work inside the house is always the last option.
Yeah.
Obviously, you try to do everything in the exterior, that way it's less invasive on the homeowner.
Good. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll do the outside from the outside in. So I don't know, do you have to pull something, or can you just drill a plug, drill a hole?
Well, our first choice is always to try to take something off if we can. That way it's less noticeable. We can make it more watertight and do it correctly.
Yeah.
In certain areas we have multiple trim pieces like we have here. A lot of times going to the flat board is going to be the only option. You know, because you get into something that's 90, 100 years old, and you start taking trim boards off that have been sitting here for a long time, that you can't actually get, you know, hand-hewed lumber anymore that's going to match that detail at the lumber yard. So you're going to end up by destroying it in the first place, so you're better off just drill a hole to the flat area.
Yeah. Now, when you guys start injecting the foam, that's one of the next step for this? Or,
yes.
Will you put the wall boards back in and then go through a plug, or will you just go through your openings here and then put the wall board on top of the foam?
Job like this, we have to actually take the original boards off to access the cavity to vacuum it out.
Yeah.
It's just easier and less time consuming to go right up the wall with that opening, and you can literally just build this up and come right out past, put your board in, squish it in, and nail it down.
Ah, good.
So
that makes it an easier thing. You can.
It does. It's going to cut the labor costs down for
Yep.
both the homeowner and for us, and it's going to get the same result either way.
So while Mike Wilson and his crew went about beefing up my own home's insulation with goo that looks like it came out of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I had to wonder, is it safe? In the basement we used a dense closed cell foam made by Geico Western. In the exterior walls we used a light open cell foam made by Tripolymer. And in the attic, another form of spray foam that made it look like we were covered with clouds.
I went through the research of all the different products. The other products are powder-based. They come out of the Ukraine, and they are urea formaldehyde-based products, and urea formaldehyde was banned in the 80s. Tripolymer is a phenolic formaldehyde, which is Equivalent to a head of lettuce in phenolic formaldehyde, so it's very safe compared to the other products that were causing lung and breathing issues in young children, older people, and people with asthma and emphysema.
So we're on the safer side of spray foam, but was it worth all that time and expense? How much are we going to save now that our home has been slathered with foam?
The overall performance characteristics of the foam is far outweighs any of the aggravation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The savings typically is 20 to 40% higher than other options.
20 to 40% over compared to like if we'd put cellulose in this. Filled in more cellulose down here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this was by far the best options you guys could have gone with. You know, obviously doing the roof line, in my opinion, is the best scenario. And doing the injection foam in the wall, which is basically doubling the R value of what you had there, you're going to see a huge savings in air reduction. And I think this whole house is going to see significant savings on fuel and on cost.
And that's what we're all about here at the Green Screen. Solutions that save. We'll be right back.